At this time, we'll move on to business, unless there's any questions regarding the standing committee's comments.
What about the other people that were on the Community Relations Committee? Are they no longer on it then?
Right, we have reorganized it, yes. Yeah, and when we covered the municipal code for the standing committees, that there should be at least 2 trustees on each committee. So I tried to make it so everybody's on 2 committees, or no more than 2 committees.
Okay, and that's fine.
Okay.
Just wanted to know.
Okay, the first item under business is the resolution opposing the proposed reduction of distributive revenues by the state of Illinois. I believe every municipality in Lake County is passing this resolution and will be forwarding that to Springfield. They're being organized by our director at the Lake County Municipal League, Christine Gentes, and the president, Mayor Miggy. Do we have a motion for approval?
Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Baranowski.
Aye.
Priest.
Aye.
Duberstein. Aye. Barrett.
Aye.
Daly.
Aye.
And Washington.
Aye.
Resolution number R-11-5-56.
Okay, item 2 is the legislation changes to the Open Meetings Act. We had discussed this at the last board meeting, so this is adoption of the procedures for public comment in accordance with the new Open Meeting Act's requirement. Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
Okay, and we're going to have discussion at this time. I know Kathy Metzler has something she'd like to present to us and get our input on.
I'm through my clerk's website. We all
Microphone.
Through the clerk's website, we all brainstorm and help each other out. And right now, I'm passing out a card. This is from Peoria, but it would read Hainesville and our ordinance number. And this is what we would have placed at the back. If somebody wants to speak, they can fill it out and turn it into the clerk.
And so this is printed on cardstock.
Cardstock.
Okay.
And I think we could, that's printed.
I like cardstock.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Would we use this, Kathy, for anybody who wanted to speak?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
So for public comments, they would have to fill one out for public comments.
Yes. Because we're gonna.
So they would they step forward to the mic and then
So what
present you the card?
No, what they would do is the cards would be in the back. They'd fill it out, bring it up here, and then we would call them up to speak.
I see. So you would call them by name. Okay.
Yeah, we do that with local school boards. We have a kind of card with a sign-in sheet and what you want to comment.
Will that make things easier for you guys?
Well, I don't think it's easier for me. It's what we have to do by the open meetings.
If you don't have the card, you have to have the sign-in sheet. That memo that we received states that. So the question is, do we want to go with the card or do we want to have a sign-in sheet where they just list themselves and their topic? The concern is, I guess, with the sign-in sheet, they can get busy and sloppy. You know, if they have their own card to fill out, hopefully it encourages them to be neater and have enough room to write what it is they're trying to say.
They would still have to identify themselves as, I'm, John Q. Citizen,
Right.
whatever, blah, 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 Street, Hainesville, Illinois, and identify.
Get to the mic, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what the card.
We have it already on the card.
Well, the card. You need it for public record, and we take our meetings, so we do need that. But for the audience, the card just says name, address, city, state, zip code, telephone number, and general topic or subject.
And that's it.
And that's it.
What would you do with the cards after the meeting?
That's the public record.
Yeah, they're part of, so they would be with the
Minutes and meeting.
Okay, just-
board packet.
Okay.
I think the card myself would be, my opinion would be the card would be better.
I think it would be neater.
Yes.
I think a sign-in sheet, you get sloppy.
Telephone number?
You know what, I don't think it hurts to.
Well, it would be nice, I mean, they don't have to put it, do they, Jim? But I think it's nice because if it's something that I or a trustee would like to follow up with a phone call or the clerk, depending on what the issue is, it's nice to know how to get a hold of them.
So this would have to be done before the meeting started, I mean, because, I mean, we're pretty, you know, see the same faces every time, and so maybe former Mayor Bueller will say something, and then somebody else will have something to follow up on that, and they didn't fill out a card.
Then I'm assuming this is correct, Jim, they would fill out the card.
They would just be able to fill out the card and then come up and speak anyway. Okay, that's fine, as long as it can be, because it seems kind of,
Yes, spontaneous.
yeah, as long as we can still spontaneously come up and comment, then that's fine.
Sounds like we shouldn't be answering.
Especially for the first few meetings where this process is in place, we want to remind folks that that's the way it's going on, so that, certainly the idea is not to prevent public comment, it's to encourage it.
Yeah, that was my concern.
Exactly.
Okay, are we ready for a roll call? Any further discussion? All right, we have a motion, and a second, call the roll.
Trustees Darrenowski.
Aye.
Kreese.
Aye.
Duberstein. Barrett.
Aye.
Daley.
Aye.
And Washington.
Aye.
Okay, item number 3, the approval for Pineview Apartments water main extension proposal for $32,360.
Yes, Mayor, this is the, this is for Pineview Apartments. They are on currently in non-compliance with the IEPA. They're on a schedule to get their water system hooked up to the village water and basically abandon their 3 wells that they have for their apartment building. The low bidder was Elmwood, proposal that we received was Elmwood Enterprises for $32,360. Looking through their proposal, there are 2 exceptions that we actually have to get clarified, that did get clarification from Elmwood, which will result in some additional charges. One is they excluded a performance bond. I think it's in the best interest of the village to get a performance bond from the contractor. So there's a $500 charge for that. And then there was a note that the owner will provide IEPA certification and lab testing if required, that all spoils are to be hauled off-site to a clean, regulated landfill. This is on an easement on actually the Cranberry Lake Homeowner Association property, so we actually cannot provide that letter that they're requiring. So the long and short of it is that there's some additional haul distance for the spoils from the site. Instead of going to a gravel pit, the spoils go to just a regular landfill. It's basically what it is. So the net result is that the entire contract will be for $34,010.
$34,010.
$47,742. So it's still $12,000.
Why are we supplying larger than that?
Well, we're either going to have to charge him and he'll put it in his bid and add 20% to it, or we give him, let him have the water to irrigate for our project.
For how long?
Basically until the sod is established. That's one of the items on with the bond is a 1-year warranty that we're getting. So he's obligated to establish that grass out there.
Any further discussion? All right, so we need an approval for a proposal of $34,010
Correct.
for the water main extension for Pineview Apartments.
All right, I move for the approval at the price of $34,010 for Elmwood Enterprises to perform said work to be monitored by and our public works.
Second.
Second.
Roll call?
Trustees Baranowski.
Aye.
Priest.
Aye.
Juberstein. Aye. Barrett.
Aye.
Daley.
Aye.
And Waddington.
Aye. Mumbling.
Okay. Okay, last item under business, before we adjourn for some excellent cake, is storage of garbage cans, recycling cans, and yard waste containers. We've had concerns and complaints from various residents and officials on this matter, and we actually did go out and issue warning tags to some violators who were storing their garbage cans in front of their garage doors or in their front yards. Most people were very receptive. Some came out and chatted. However, one resident was very irate, very upset, and he said he was coming to tonight's meeting, but I don't see him here. There's an area of the village known as the settlement, and we have the highest number of violators in this area. And the belief is, or some of the complaint from a couple of the residents who were upset about this, is because the lots are split. There is an A and B lot, that the side yards are smaller and make the storage of garbage cans difficult. Well, we also have a trustee and a former trustee that lives in that area, and they seem to manage their garbage cans fine. And I asked for the input from our trustee. So I am not suggesting any change. I just told this resident that I would place it on the agenda, and I expected him to be here tonight. What I do ask you to consider, because I think this will come up again, what goes on with his particular properties, and I've noticed it in a few others. I've also noticed it on one property in Misty Hill. And I think I'm actually, is there a dry erase marker on that board?
No.
All right, I'm gonna run and grab one. Take me 2 seconds. There are ranch-style houses, and then in Misty Hill, some of the very large houses are also designed this way, where the front door is set back and the garage comes out along this way. And when you walk up to the front door, you're walking up a sidewalk that goes along the side of the garage. So this resident has his garbage cans right here along the walk to his front door. That's in violation of the ordinance, because your garbage cans are supposed to be on the side yard of your property. So that would be the other side of the garage, or in your backyard, or they could be inside your garage. The resident claimed, well, I have them in the right place. And it was, no, this is not a side yard, this is your front yard. So the resident said, well then, I will move my garbage cans to my side yard on this side, not over here, and I not want to put them in my garage. And he said, you're going to come back and find me or yell at me, because he's on a corner lot, and this happens to be Bighorn, where you drive up and down, okay? And I said, well, if that's where you want to put them, that's your choice, but no, I cannot come back and ticket you, because that is not in violation. You are allowed to store it on the side yard. And I noticed a similar thing in Misty Hill. So I'm throwing this out there. I do feel this resident was somewhat unreasonable and didn't really want to talk and just wanted to argue. We're not doing it to annoy somebody. I don't know that you really want that look. So I'm just throwing it out there because I don't think this topic's going to go away. And this resident may end up being fined if this continues. So I'm interested for input and feedback.